But like
Hmm.
now, like once more people started playing and like ranked higher player ranks are playing, we got our solo laners who are actually learning new characters. They like figured out that Aurora is really good. She has great CCs and can escape. In a team setting, she's really dominant. In like casuals, maybe not so because you need that follow up.
For sure, dude. She's so strong. And, because of that, I'm expecting to see her here as we find
Yeah,
ourselves now heading into the draft phase, either to be banned or to be prio picked up high. And it's not only the damage, that's not anything to knock on, but it's the space control she brings to any game and any iteration of a team fight that she finds herself in. A good, well placed wall is never bad, right?
mm,
Like, you can create space or block space or enclose enemies. A blink doesn't do anything because a blink doesn't like go off and then you go through the physicality of whatever is in front of you. You blink to what you see. So if there is a wall there, you cannot blink through it. So the ability to force a team fight, force bad positioning, or take advantage of an enemy team's bad positioning, for me, makes her an absolute must pick anytime she's up. And for the competitive games that I've been doing a lot of stuff with in Overpowered, every time she appears, she is like the best character, or at least before there was the best character in the map or on the map,
mm.
no matter what else the team comp was looking like.
Just the easy CC that she applies while being safe, and I like this. So our last previous matches against EU, EU's kind of setting the meta. They like to run their tanks in the jungle, and they like to run their tanks in the solo. It's going to be Aurora in the solo, Sevrog in the jungle, Rampage in the jungle. So we're finally seeing a Seb ban, and we might see an Aurora pick here.
I would definitely hope so. I would definitely hope to see an Aurora pick here. Like I said, it's just so dominant. And I know this team in bad timing can play her very, very well. They have that high capacity to execute that not every team has yet, who's kind of finding themselves on the competitive scene. However, if not Aurora, then the question comes like who, right? Who are you prio picking in a spot in
Mm.
first pick, if not her? I can think of a couple that come to mind. Maybe you're looking to lock down possibly the Sparrow for like late game engagements. You're believing that damage potentiality. That steroid is never bad, along
Oh,
with the movement speed. Oh, but you're
the
not gonna pick
trolls.
anybody. It's gonna be a bail, dude.
Yeah. First picking. I feel like picking casters, and here we'll switch back to the overlay. We'll get into it pretty quickly.
I
Um.
had to turn on my thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good, man.
Um.
Thank you.
But yeah, I love the sub band, the rev band. After that, either you're first picking Aurora, or you have to pick. I think Muriel. Muriel's another good. You're not really
Yeah.
picking casters that early. There's like three good casters.
Yeah.
ADCs. There's plenty of ADCs that can all do the same job, just left click. Some a little bit
Mhm.
better, but
On head,
um,
on head. If you're like high prio and casters, I mean, maybe this is maybe I'm getting a little bit of a Rom King differential, a little bit of a Rom King bias, but like if you're top two picking casters, I have to expect it to be Gideon in a lot of the instances. Although I have seen the EU teams do definitely pivot to Bullock, right?
yeah, we have seen either actually countering. We've seen a lot of Howies, the EU's. Actually, I think the team that we're looking at right now, the Poonslayers, they are picking the Howie whenever Gideon is picked up. It's either Howie
Mm,
or first picking Howitzer over a Gideon. Whenever Gideon goes to ult, Howitzer is going to ult right on top of him, and he's a
yeah.
little bit more safer where he can ult and get away while Gideon has to stay there and continuously ult.
That's true. That's true. And that damage is like nothing to knock on. I always like used to make the argument, right, of like, oh, how's your not that great because you just move. But that was like when I was first like really getting into the
Mm-hmm.
game, and it doesn't like when you are first playing. And this is for like anybody in like chat or anybody who's looking to play a more competitive level. The ability to force movement in a MOBA, and especially this one with like verticality implied into it, can be such a strong tool. And not only that, there's so much available CC to so many good characters that sit high within the rankings of the game. We just saw a Severog ban, for example, basically get popped
Mm-hmm.
off, and he has the ability to lock down. He has the ability to reposition. So if you are able to lock people down within that howitzer ult, we've seen like it just can do so much damage, and these teams have the capacity to like pull plays like that off, especially in a competitive setting when they have people they trust alongside them.
What I'm still waiting for is a Decker Howie cage. The patented OG howitzer Decker cage.
Dude, the rats in the cage combo, man. I got hit with that a great many times, and it feels bad every time because you know, like, oh man, well, there goes 2/3 of my health bar there. Big, I guess it's like that old man meme. I guess I die. But yeah, for sure. Man, what if I have to ask you here? What is your dream comp for a team? Right, you know, the enemy team bans bad, and your team just happens to like find their top 5 picks for every single lane. What would be your top 5?
Yeah, Aurora solo, Rampage jungle, Gideon or howitzer mid, Muriel support because Muriel is probably the best support still. Late game, she's nuts. Ranger, probably a Sparrow. Sparrow's ult is a little bit more impactful, like in an actual team fight ult than any other Rangers. So I would like a Sparrow. Sparrow can stay safe, and to get that late game, she can pop off.
For sure. I agree with you on all of those. Sparrow is definitely going to be my pick. Muriel, just, oh man, I want a shield buster item so bad. I want a shield buster item with every fiber of my being. Late game, she's so potent. And in that fact that shield is AoE and targetability for the person who needs it the most. Like, you're going into a team fight, they got a whole nother health bar, and there goes the Aurora pick off rip. We saw it coming. We knew it was on the horizon. And with it there, we're going to be able to see in response, hey, look, it's your dream team.
Yeah, it is.
Rampage figured off a contact.
The EU boys know. We know. The EU guys know. We're the next level.
EU?
No.
I was like, you said we.
No.
I'm taking your flag.
We're just
taking your American flag.
we're big brains. But yeah, Rampage in the jungle. His clear's pretty solid. He has multiple AoE abilities to help clear. His gank potential is pretty nice with a long range rock. If he can hit it, he can set up CCs pretty easily. And then just being able to leap in, ult, and just be there to tank so much damage. Rampage is pretty solid.
His damage while in ult or just in general isn't bad. So it's not like some other characters, like exemplar Sephiroth, right? His damage has never come across to me as, you know, monumentous. A lot of the time just comes down to his ability to reposition you, to CC you, lock you down, kind of keep you out of a team fight. Rampage, you cannot ignore.
Yep, exactly.
He's on your back line, and it is an issue, and especially if you have a combination of, let's say, a Rampage. We'll see if your dream team gets completed with maybe a Sparrow lock in here coming out of BT and the boys, but Rampage in combination with a lot of characters like a Gideon, like, hey, the Sparrow, there it is.
There's Sparrow.
Like in combination with the Sparrow, despite us not seeing it, this game is so potent. The fact that Sparrow does so much damage, that steroid allows her so much mobility, and if you're hitting those auto attacks, just so much pressure. But then you click R, and she literally becomes a caster.
Yeah, it goes through multiple targets. It's a cone attack. You're shredding when it comes to late games.
It's so incredibly strong, to the point where I've been in like competitive situations where we will literally plan to just bait out and apply pressure to the Sparrow to get the ult out, so we can do a soft reset with a healer like maybe Mako or Norbash, and then re-engage, knowing our chances just like went up by like at least 0.6%.
Yeah, overall,
just because it's so strong.
So looking at these team comps, I'm gonna go with you. Who do you think's the better team comp here? What team comp are you liking?
Oh man, that's tough. That's real tough. I am going to say I like Bad Timing's comp just a little bit more. You know, as I expressed earlier, we have very big thoughts on the Aurora gameplay and what it can provide. However, what I'm seeing in this team is a lot of hard lockdown CC and repositioning on a single character. If this Mako executes well, this Crunch is able to dive. This Aurora is able to completely recite an entire initiation if she doesn't get her ult off, or like we talked about before, the ability to seal off space, as well as that Bellica with the knockup. The drone can cause a lot of problems on the backline if it's not getting rid of by this Muriel when she's free casting. It's still able to get damage across to her or anybody else casting within the team fight. So, and also you can't ignore the Sparrow All auto attacking, all carry gods do the same thing to a degree, but Sparrow just does it so well, and the tools
for
her
team
kit
fight.
just give so much pressure to it being in her favor that it's just something you can't deny in a lot of the instances. What about you? Like, which one would you be leaning to?
I'm not too sold on the Feng Mao yet. I personally like the Feng Mao. But not having that hard CC like the EU guys typically run. Because Feng Mao just he's there to bring damage and to ult whenever they're below a threshold. He doesn't have that hard CC like an Aurora or a Crunch. But I mean, they have Muriel. I think Muriel is just like the best character in the game. When it comes to the late game, just shield, stuns, map presence. I think she does so much.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about, right? Is the map presence. Muriel hitting level 6, unlike a Narbash, unlike a Mako, isn't applying, you know, a little bit more pressure or safety and security in her instance to a singular person. The whole entire map is safer when she is on 6 here. As we have a Crunch floating into this right side bush, however, we are going to see the Howitzer playing relatively safe, backing up off the back end. He is going to hit the increase of level. Crunch showing a little bit of face, is going to retreat into his jungle now. Feng Mao keeping an eye out, maybe looking for a slow rotation, but opts not to, as he's going to make his way instead to his red buff, as both these teams understand the importance of getting that CS. But yeah, Muriel just... she is level 6, and everybody on the map is a little bit safer. And yeah, you know, getting to that late stage of the game where your shields are doing so much more than the other team support can be difficult, but once you're there, it's unchallengeable. There is not a single late game support in this game who can stand face to face with what Muriel can bring to a team fight.
Yeah, and also the cooldowns too. When it comes to late game, you're getting a couple of cooldown items, and as you're leveling it up, you're getting more shields. I believe it lowers the cooldown as well. So when it comes to late game, with like 20, 30 CDR, your shields are 6, 7 seconds.
Yeah,
you're getting health bars. You're just giving out health bars to everybody.
You are literally just walking around, and it makes ganks so much harder when you're trying to rotate onto the duo lane coming out of the side camps of the jungle, especially if she's able to maintain that control of the ward battle, something that a lot of people I feel like don't acknowledge as frequently when you're playing the game at lower levels. The ward battle is a fight you should be fighting to win every single game. Ward save lives, as we are going to see initiation from this Crunch. However, it is going to be a backdrop here from the Howitzer, retreating back into Tower. Crunch now retreating back to his red side jungle, just showing a little bit of face here, as it is the Howitzer who's going to be running quite low on mana, and we know that that is dangerous on this Bellica, but she does not yet see Conte dashing in. That is going to be chill to block the pop-up, and a mild dive. It is going to be the parking the drone. She is dropped low, but not low enough to be sent to the gray screen. Safe, secure to a degree, but still within dive range. We are going to see bad timing. Bellica going to be backing now, back to tower. A lot of activity here within the mid lane within the first 10 minutes of the game so far.
Yeah, they're kind of feeling a little lazy back here from Blood.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay though. He's gonna be able to get out. But yeah, the wards. We have a lot of wards. We have counter warding. Feng Mao not able to get the kill there, but forced the Bellica back to miss a little bit of CS. Just kind of keep that pressure on in mid.
And another thing to talk about there is the importance of that CS due to a Feng Mao rotation coming out. We are going to see an early blink out, but a blink and hot pursuit. Is it going to be a dive off the back line? No!
So close.
It is going to be Sparrow who survives from the air over Chin, man. Cordy, dude. It has to be frustrating here for Conti to have on 2 rotational ganks. These characters so very close, but not yet got them, and even worse, with the buff now spawning on that side, Spirit up, they're going to be able to rotate back to lane relatively quickly still, unlike the Bellica.
Yeah, not level 6 yet. If he was level 6, he could definitely have executed there and gotten that kill. But forcing the blink out is not bad on the Sparrow. Sparrow doesn't have great mobility. She does have the movement speed, but if you can stay on the target, not having a blink, she could be in a bad spot.
Yeah, and you could see there within that kind of brief initiation from that gank coming out of Feng Mao and Conti. that he very well played his movement when he was going for that game, keeping the sway from left to right, but also positioning himself in a way to where he was a very hard target for this Mako to hit with the peel, which inevitably caused the Mako to just miss it and then force the blink out of the Sparrow. You saw that blink not coming out immediately off of the gank. But, you know, just in time when it was evident that the Mako was not going to be able to peel for the carry. And even then, he had the blink up and he had the shield still active, so that very much so could have been a kill. But from the level of play that we've gotten used to seeing with players of this caliber, I'm not surprised it didn't result in so. However, it is going to be Fang Mao once again back for the smoke. It is going to be Bluff. Is he going to be sent to the street? It's going to be an execute coming out of Fang Mao. Wipe off the spear with a flick, because that is going to be first blood going over to Conti.
Nice play by Conti. He didn't get the kill first go around, but forcing the blink out, he was able to come back and capitalize on that right before the spear comes up. I would like to see if they maybe get grouped up and try to get some more wards out. We have Mako placing a deeper ward, but Spirit's up. We don't see a lot of rotation over here yet. Solo laners are still battling up in solo lane. The portal is going to be coming up pretty soon. We'll see if one of them will like to choose to take it and go for that Spirit early.
Yeah, and I would like to bring up, it feels almost forced to a degree, the amount of aggression now the junglers have to have looking for picks within the most, like, one of the more recent patches. We did also see that nerf just go out to the amount of XP that these jungle minions offer. So being able to show face, take a little bit of the minion XP when it is opportune is now a critical part of being a jungler. However, we are going to see now Spirit start to melt down, just about down to a third. 650 on the smite is going to be up for crunch. They're looking for the drag here as this team is playing a little game, dancing around the Spirit. It is almost most certainly now going to be a confirmed coming out of the team with the steal. The initiation not yet over. It is going to be the crunch forced to back out. However, it is going to be Bluff in hot pursuit now, turning around after he missed. He's going to force the blink out of the Pelican, turning their attention now, seeing that it is going to be a smooth disengage. Will be these lads looking to secure the blue buff before we see he teleports once again, go again. We know she does not have the blink, but he is still going to opt to reposition and not play too greedily. This team in out with the steal, as well as Spirit going in their favor. They take a blue buff on the side, man. Very good play and very smart play coming out of this team.
Yeah, good. It's still there by County, and good follow by the rest of the team. Forcing them out, getting a little bit of invade as well, still like the blue buff, kind of putting the jungler behind in this game. Currently, in this game right now, if the jungler is behind, it is really, really hard to out-secure objectives.
It is so tough, man. I got a question for you here, Cordy. Can you see the smoke coming off of that spear for Fang Mao? Dude has the fastest smite in the West, from what I've been told. That was so well executed, and a very large part of, even in what is a 1-0 kill game, what makes these games so exciting is seeing the fundamentals and mechanics of these players, understanding that it's never safe or it's never over. We saw there the team and bad timing looked to drag the objective right, despite it being bursted very quickly. 2/3, 1/3, a fourth, a fifth, and very aware of the entirety of that, like, initiation and the attempt to take that objective, that at any moment the Fang Mao steal can happen. So they take the time to do the drag, play a little bit safer, but sadly there, Matt, just not enough, as this team executed exactly what they wanted extremely well.
I didn't see. What spirit are we looking at here? Oh, it's the Wind Spirit. Wind Spirit's a really great one. Movement speed, attack speed, and cooldown reduction. So that is a pretty good buff to have.
Cooldown reduction for my Muriel, please. Thank you so much. I will take that extra health bar. And it is going to be a jump over, a little bit of a breaking of the ankles here between the legs with the Kobe. Is going to be the Bellica predicting the jump up and then repositioning. However, Conti is going to be initiating. His Rampage has gone beast mode, and it will be out in the depth of the Mako. Send the squirrel home. It's time to hibernate into the gray screen, and that's going to be a successful run. A tower dive underneath the dual lane tower. Interfire is going to burn right, going to be stuffed out almost immediately, though, as that is going to be a 2, no, a 3 for nothing trade in favor of the blue team here, as they're going to be rotating mid.
They are starting to steamroll now. Great plays from the front line. County going in. The Rampage going in and getting some great stuns. Blinking in is getting to the back line and putting a lot of pressure on bad timing here.
Yeah, just so much pressure is being put on this team. They, bad timing, lost that spirit take, right? And in that moment, you could feel the momentum just swing a little bit in the side of this team. And they grabbed it and they just started running with it. Quick rotations, ganks, blinks in, believing that if they are going to be going in, they are coming out with some form of profit. And honestly, it hasn't failed them yet.
Yeah, County right now, 3-0, 3-0-0. Feng Mao. I was questioning the Feng Mao. He does provide a lot of damage, but no CC. Like the crunch provides great damage. He does provide a lot of CC, but right now we're just seeing the front line for the Poonslayers who's doing a really good job. County going in, leading the charge. Rampage getting to the back line, just kind of doing their job. It's really easy as a backliner when your front line is just taking so much damage and creating so much space.
And it's even better for you as the frontliner when your backline is able to give you a whole extra health bar from a very safe distance. We saw there, it looked almost like that Feng Mao on the engage had a full other health bar, as we are going to see a rotation of the Prime Guardian's pit here. It is going to be, though, a steal that looks like for bad timing, unless we are going to see the fastest mind of the wet strike again as Conti comes back on the rotation, and we are going to see a bit of a scuffle breaking out. Bellica applying the pressure. It is going to be approaching the Spirit's Fang as this team is looking for the smoke, but a good Mac ult comes out, forcing the reposition here. It is going to be a blink into the ult coming out of Aurora, but will it be enough? No, it is not, as Muriel from a safe distance is going to offer a little bit of health and a little bit of speed, put in the Crunch in sports mode, but will it be enough to save her own life? As the Crunch likes the punch, it is going to be a knockup and a put down back to the gray screen. That is now going to be one going in favor of bad timing. The clock strikes in their favor. Despite losing the buff, you see an instant mentality to bounce back. We lost the buff. What else can we get from it? Faster rotations and an even faster decision to take out the the Sparrow.
I think Blood was backing in the bush there. He was backing in the bush and he got pushed back. Shot the Rampage. He gave away his position.
Oh man, a bit of an unsafe. Now I wouldn't call it lazy, but definitely a bit of an unsafe back there coming out of Blood, giving this team a little bit more of a kill. And you know, that can't feel great. You lost the objective, you took a life. Okay, they didn't get it for free. Oh wait, now the bank account's even. You got paid, and Rit came in the same day as that kill on your Sparrow is going to put her behind once again on some CS here. Despite the jump pad being up, her being able to rotate back to lane here, we can see in duo a little bit faster. You can see that the build progression is already starting to sway ever more in favor of this team opposing bad timing. And we are off of that going to see a group up mid. It is not going to be safe here.
Blink.
A very fast blink out of the middle. That is the correct play, because the moment that Prime lands, Courtney, man, we know it's not safe. It is not safe once she arrives.
Mid tower going down, putting a lot of pressure, forcing the blink out of Bellica, and they're going to pull this Wind Spirit here. I would like to see they're on board, so they know that it's happening. But we got 3,000 health right now. It's burning really quickly.
Yeah, man, and that is going to be an easy and an immediate take. Now, this is a lot of the strategy that I've come to see out of the most high-performing teams. You take that momentum and then you just don't give it back. You have to drown the opposition in an unimaginable amount of gold and momentum. You have to be stealing the jungle. You have to be taking the objective when they have the objective. You have to take that from them as well and not settle there. You got to constantly be looking, man, for what you can get next and where you can get it. It's a game of hunger, but knowing when to satiate your appetite so you can bounce back to something else, most of the time that being an objective. And that's exactly what we're seeing out of this team here. We're seeing steals. Okay, now let's go for a pick. We don't have a pick available. Let's go push up the lane to apply pressure here. Back, power spike. Now we're going for a pick. Now we're the ones going on this objective in Prime. They're playing an almost perfect game here, and it's looking like bad timing. They're just trying to keep up.
Yeah, bad timing right now. During that objective pull, they made the call to not go for it. They're not in a good spot to team fight. They're down on items and levels. So they went to go ahead and farm. They did a little invade. We saw Crunch. We saw Plead going in and sealing the blue, getting a little bit of farm. So that's kind of the plays you have to make when you can't make a rotation to an objective. Try to be on the opposite side of the map and try to take whatever jungle you can to try to get yourself some levels, but also take away some levels from the enemy team as well.
Yeah, and you know, at this juncture in the game, right, one thing that you do not want to see if you are this team in bad timing is that at 15 minutes, they have on the opposing side a full lifesteal item here, not lifesteal, anti-heal item built. And Sage's Whip, as the Aurora is going to go down to increase the lead. Crunch, man, you're not going to be able to save it, dude. And run down the lane, get away, Wally, because this team are looking to take you to the scrapyard, but it is going to be instead a rotation to the jungle. This is exactly what we were talking about just a second ago. All right, guys, we did it. We took the tower. Now what do? We take the jungle. Do they want to protect it? Then we take a pick and we take their life. What do we do after that? Just run through, and every advantage you can have, you have to squeeze it out throughout the entirety of the game if you want to be able to not only perform in a competitive league, in a competitive tournament such as this, but be able to win. And it's definitely going to be an avenue of crawling back here for bad timing, something I definitely believe they can do, as they are a very good team. But it is going to be a teleport in with the Spring immediately off. A block off from the Crunch will be the Fang Mal, an extra health bar, courtesy of your local Muriel. A little bit of robot on robot supremacy here within the jungle of this team in bad timing. And over to the side is going to be the Rampage, going for the disengage now, but not pursued.
He's been in that left lane just pushing it. I think he's just getting farm, solo farming up, and the enemy team, or the Poonslayers just kind of going in and taking all the farming that they can get from the jungle and just trying to suffocate bad timing here.
For sure, man. I mean, I'd be pushing the lane off cooldown too if I had a completed Zymius and Blacksmith Scissors with 1,000 gold well on my way to, as I assumed, getting another physical defense item, basically nullifying a lot of the engage that is going to be coming from this Crunch, a lot of the damage that is going to be coming from this Sparrow. Despite her having Merchant's Jewelry Box built, a very good item for taking a lot of that percentage health away on these auto attacks. Even more valuable when you're playing Sparrow and you have that steroid, it still feels like not enough when you're lined up against a Zymius, when you're lined up against that extra defensive item, when you know you're proccing Blacksmith Scissors every time you try to lock down the Rampage. And dude, Cordy, that is without us taking into account the ult coming out of Rampage, and without us taking into account that he has a Muriel basically tied to him at the hip.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten a chainsaw off yet. Once she gets a chainsaw off, it's going to be a lot better. But as of right now, the front line is just too massive for the for bad timing. Right now, they're kind of setting up, getting some deep wards, maybe looking for a pick. They want to pull this objective. I'm curious if they're going to maybe keep 3 on the objective and 2 zoning. That definitely could be a strat. We'll see here. Right side being pushed in, and Rampage is going to go back and deal with that and try to get those waves pushed back up.
So Cordy, man, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. However, whenever I'm doing a little bit of casting, getting a little active with the vocal cords, some would say, I call this little dance, this little bit of pressure with the Prime in the middle, a bit of a Prime party going on, because everybody's invited, but some people are going to have to sleep over and stay the night. And that couch, it looks like a gray screen, because not everybody makes it out alive of these Prime parties. And it looks like we are getting set up to have our first one.
They're gonna, okay, so we're splitting objectives. They're giving them the Guardian, but wait, maybe not. I thought they were gonna pull the Spirit here, but no, they're gonna go back for Guardian.
Yeah, and now it feels too late. This is an extremely indecisive play here out of bad timing that might just cost them a free Guardian. That Prime now about 50%, and the pull over to the side is going to reset the Guardian. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. That play there looks like bad timing was saved from themselves there just a little bit. As Muriel is going initially on the back, and Aurora's gonna pop off that ult, and it's getting real cold outside. Do you want to build a snowman? Because they're trying to put you down, and full-on initiation going on the side of the jungle. We're gonna see Fagmal initiating over to the side. Crunch liking a punch, but that Kraken from the sea, that big man in the Rampage is looking to stick to the name as he's gonna jump on top of the Pelican, forcing the blink out. There is going to be the ult coming out of Howitzer, forcing the space and forcing this team in bad timing to get these traps off. A very low Draco is not take it, as it is going to be Bellica back-to-back with the casting of my favorite spell, and it's called Gun. That is going to, so far, be a 2-for-1. Not in the favor of the boys of Bad Timing, but we will see as they fully rotate onto the Rampage, and it stops now. It's a 3-for-1. The boys are back, and they're looking to reclaim the tempo.
Good fight there. Good fight there from Bad Timing. They were able to get some kills. I don't know the play. Yeah, I was definitely questioning because they were grouping on the Spirit side of the map, and it seemed like the call was for them to give up Guardian and then go for the Spirit, but last second they switched it up when they both spawned. And they rotated late, but they weren't killing it as fast enough. The Poonslayers weren't killing it as fast enough. They still a lot of time, and they got pulled back in, and it just lost so much health. It made a really good fight for Bad Timing.
I personally feel like maybe they were living in a different patch. Because, you know, Prime is something that can be traded a lot easier and not have felt bad when it simply just did damage to the towers, right? When you took it and it just did overall damage, okay, maybe we can defend it. It's what, going to be 30%? It's not going to be that bad. But no, we're living in the year 2023, man, and it is June. And right now, if that Prime gets popped, that Prime gets taken, that is turning off those inhibitors for a mighty long feel in time. So that is not something you ever want to trade there. But if they would have committed to it, wouldn't have been the greatest, but they would have got some out of it. However, it worked out for them as the pool reset, and they were able to still get 3 picks off of it. I'm sure it feels good and allows them to feel like they've been put almost back in the driver's seat, or at least in contention for this game that Conte and the lads have been very dominant in so far. Taking it above you here, we are going to see the proccing of the Howitzer ult is going to go in. A little bit of Muriel Shield, make the survivability of our team so much better, and an Aurora ult along the backline. However, health bars are going to get low, and it's Howie's is going to be the first one to fall. The Ice Queen tells them about that sweet embrace. The Spirit has not yet been reset. However, it looks like a full Sid down. Conte down on the Fang Mouth. Sparrow looking for the initiation, looking for smoke. That inner fighter is going to burn through, but that health bar is getting ever lower. Bellica looking to get the damage across, but Crunch likes to punch, but Punchy will no more as he is going to fall.
Sparrow!
It is a full burn right on the backline, and it is going to be Sparrow picking up another one. Black Air Force Blub is at it again, guys, as it is going to be 4 down in favor. Bad Timing, and the clock strikes in their favor.
Sparrow showing up huge in that fight. Chainsaw completed, coming back in and just shredding everybody.
Dude, we talked about it before the game.
Howitzer got shut down by Aurora, got CC'd. County went down pretty early on in the team fight. He's been their main damaging front line, and then at that point it was just Sparrow just chewing down the Rampage and chasing everybody down.
Oh man, we talked about it before the game. She clicked R and turned on the mage. She clicked it, she ult keyed, and turned on the mage damage. That Jeweler's box doing so much damage for it. In combination with Chainsaw, those tanks feel a lot less tanky at this juncture in the game. And this is where you start to get stressed if you're going to be Conte and the lads. All right, man. Our play here was to be healthy. Our play was to be strong, was to be tanky. We have the Muriel, we have the Rampage, we have the Fang, but do we have enough health to face down that Sparrow? If we're talking on Conte's side right now, we're regathering us. It's 8-8, 2-1 still our favor as far as objectives goes, not counting the Prime. We have to go from this point on. We have to prioritize the Sparrow first pick, but then it comes Joy of the Harvest on the Aurora.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I've never seen that. That's new technology for me.
It's only 1,300 gold. You are in solo lane only farming. You have a lot of farm in solo lane. Yeah, that's interesting. We are fully stacked. Joy Harvest is fully stacked 25 minutes in. So we are fully stacked here, getting some power, some cooldowns. That could be the reason why the Howitzer got shredded in the backline. He took a lot of damage early.
He did, man. Upon landing, he dropped that ult and landed into a death pit. Ice spikes everywhere. It was cold, and though Snowman was him 6 feet under like the ground in the gray screen. An absolute, precise encounter here, but it looks like we may have a Prime party starting up here. Yeah, both of these teams looking to set up, active in the bush. You're going to be drawing forward. Most definitely going to be seen here. Sparrow shooting a little bit of a cheeky shot. Hey, I know you're there, man. This isn't Fortnite. Wrong game. Maybe try again. Aurora utilizing Joy here to also be able to get a bit more damage than she would off on these back lines when she's able to get that engage. And we have seen really good blink ults out of this Aurora so far. We have to give credit where credit is due. The mechanics have been phenomenal so far.
Yeah, Aurora right now pushing the opposite side of the map. Does have the portal if they do look to start the Prime buff. Just getting that tower down and getting a little bit gold in everyone's pockets.
For sure, man. That's another thing we talk about a lot is getting the gold on the map. Here in Bad Timing, when you are looking to put yourself in the driver's seat, take possession of the game and the momentum back in your favor, you can't leave gold sitting around. You wouldn't be a poor living meal to meal and leave $100 on the floor, would you, right? You have to get the gold that is waiting there to be taken, and that is every tower. And they're going to be the easiest to take, but they're also going to supply you with the most direct means of putting yourself back in the driver's seat for this game.
And right now, just a little bit of posturing. But before these last couple of team fights, I would think that the Poonslayers would just W key them and put a lot of pressure. But these last couple of fights have been going in the favor of Bad Timing, and it's putting a little break on the Slayers here. They're not pulling the objective. Objective is really tough to pull when it's a 5v5. It does so much, and it's unpredictable too. The pull on the Prime Guardian is the one that's just really unpredictable, and it does pull you. You're taking a lot of health. The backliners are taking a lot of health, and they are put into the bad situation.
Yeah, man, whenever that pull goes off, it very much so feels like, oh, look, Prime, 6th man of the year, undefeated yet again, as that pull forces the teams out of position and forces them to understand, like, okay, nowhere we can play here is quite safe that is still meaningful if we're looking to apply pressure on Prime. Fate forces almost a complete commit to the objective. And, you know, so far this game and how exciting it's been is going to force me to take a sip of water real quick here because my throat's getting a little bit dry.
Yeah, while we're taking a little break here and we'll do a little Prime party dance, de-warding and everything. Let's look at some builds here. Oh, the pullback.
Artificial gravity inductor coming out of the fin here. A nice counter build directly into the Sparrow from when that ult procs off.
This was recently buffed by a second. I don't think they did anything with the stats. This item wasn't really bought a lot, but it is really good. Great defense. 70 defense is really high. 300 health. 10 CDR is always great. And then the passive, decreasing the attack speed and reducing physical power by 40%. 40%, almost half of the physical power.
And it looks like...
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is
for 5 seconds.
Ton. And, you know, items get better as other items get worse. I was living in a timeline where players were telling me that, like, Zymia's is kind of bad now. And I was like, what? How can it be? And, you know, gravity inductor coming much into favor. Blacksmith scissors, a lot of cases being a must-have, as it is going to be a jump in. However, Bellica's going to let him know it is not going to be free, but she is going to be gone. It was a magic trick, as we now have a pick coming onto the line of Bad Timing, resulting in this team led by Conte to be a lot more confident in taking this win spear. But we see Aurora flagging around the backside. It is going to be Sparrow who's going to take the life. Interfire Burning Bright will be procced as she is now going to look to engage off the back end. Artificial Gravity Inductor procced off the back end of the Rampage. However, Sparrow knows her target as she looks to run down, activating the speed boost. One shot, two shot, dead ass. She's going to hit this corner. It's the roundabout. You're playing Mario Kart, except these shells do a lot more damage. They can crit, but it is going to be 2-1, not in favor of Bad Timing, as the lads actually in favor, my apologies, in favor of Bad Timing, as these lads look to go round back around on this win spirit to secure it and tie it up, hopefully 2-2 spirits.
Late game Sparrow, man. We haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in this tournament yet, but late game Sparrow, like I said before, is probably one of the best rangers. Just the team fight presence that she has over other rangers. That steroid is really good, and that movement speed. Comparing that with Spirit's armor, you're flying.
Yeah, with that Spirit armament, I've heard a lot of petitions just saying, hey, maybe we remove that bad boy from the game. Maybe it's a little busted, and it cannot be denied that it is one of the strongest premier items for any carry within the game. and I'm very excited to see it. It feels a lot more fair than, let's say, like, for example, like a Fanatics in that instance, but it is just so powerful and allowing you, when you're able to land those autos, especially on Sparrow with that movement speed buff and that auto attack buff, to just translate your damage across to the enemy team here, as we are going to see, you know, the Sparrow's a little bit tankier than what she would be with that green gem build, giving her a little bit of shield whenever she's outside of combat. And it may not be a lot, but it feels like enough, especially when you're playing such a squishy, low mobility character.
Yeah, that 370 health is not terrible, and a little bit of shield will help. The main damage dealers that are diving you are going to be the front line, so they're not doing as much damage as a caster or a ranger are going to be doing. So a little bit of survivability is there. But also looking at the rest of these builds, they're pretty much mirror match here. We don't have the electric zone from the Drongo, but we're not no longer seeing the crit builds anymore. The Zert got nerfed. Merchant jewelries, chainsaw is going to be really popular.
Flask got nerfed.
Yeah, so we are the meta is definitely changing for the Rangers now. No longer building full on crit.
For sure. And you know, these teams and these viewers are in the exact place they want to be if they want to see what it changes into over the course of the game. As Drongo looks to possibly initiate, however, that damage is not going to translate off. Just getting a little bit of CS. Dude is zooming. Dude is zooming.
The steroid, I think he gets like 30% on his, whenever he pops the steroid. The Spirit's armor, Muriel boosting him, like he is... They're going for a speed race, Sparrow and Drongo.
Dude is gonna be outrunning you in sprint mode. It's gonna be running you down. He's gonna let you get to sprint mode just to give you a chance here, man.
Do we have? Oh, we do. Yep, Victorious Footstep.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the speed racer meta we're living in right now between Spirit, Victorious, and seeing this Drongo just catching himself on the move, as we are going to see a lot of these characters and players are going to be migrating into this solo lane now. I doubt we'll see a fight here, as there's almost nothing to gain. It's not around an objective, but we will see the dash in and being blocked off of the crutch, but as we assumed, a very easy disengage and a little bit of a rampage rock, as we'll call it a goodbye gift to the gamers as they look to rotate out.
No one is willing to start the Guardian. There's Scylla's not up yet. Once we've been seeing a lot of more team fights around the Spirit buff. Right now it's 2-2. Scylla spawns after the third one has been taken by one team, so no big objective yet. No one's willing to be in the pit for Guardian here.
Oh yeah, and it feels like a symptom of the times, as Feng Mao just barely tips his toe into that war, now giving away his location to the enemy team, but it won't mean next to anything within this instance. But yeah, previously when that thing was just doing % damage, we saw a lot of people on cooldown. The moment it was up, they were up and they were there for the run through. A little bit of an annoying Mako poke, and I can sympathize as there's a skirmish going on within the side jungle. But now, like we said before, with it bringing down every single tower, every single inhibitor, I mean, it's so strong. And with a Sparrow in the game, it's not something you can freely just give up, as it looks like Sparrow may be looking to initiate an actual fight, but this team does have a fog wall right behind him here. But it is going to be the Crunch pushing up close to it, getting a little bit of damage on his way out, and the lads with Conte forced to backstep out just a bit, as it looks like the bad timing of the boys are going to set up a little bit of a bush count, but very aware is Conte. He's taking an arrow for his troubles, but they did immediately engage with it to teleport out. However, this team is ready to surge forward, as that is going to be a proccing of the ult, slowing down absolutely no one, but catching off guard the backline, as it is going to be Rampage penetrating through. Now the question is here, how tanky are you? Can you survive? Can you sustain? As the damage comes translated across, it looks like it might be in front of the Drongo. Sparrow in a fire burning bright, she looks to melt through, but that health is showing low, and she's going to fall. It will be the Rampage who falls, not the Rampage who sends Sparrow down, 2 fall. Immediately, Muriel too far separated from her team to translate her heals as quickly as she would want to. Howitzer looking to get a little bit of damage coming across as one by one, each member of this engage gets riskier and riskier, staying involved. Crunch also very low. Pleading for his life, but it is going to be a blink to secure the kill into the vomit. Into the CC, into the bullet, and that is going to be Bellica, dropped by Drongo, dropped by another, as one by one, everyone is going to hit a reunion with the great screen.
You have no life steal.
No life steal, but
he has
maybe
Muriel.
A firm belief in the Muriel. The second health bar. Not quite enough, but barely enough to make it there. Don't do it, man. It might go for the pull, and you won't see it coming.
Oh, they're pulling it correctly.
Yeah,
they're
buddy,
facing it away.
This is going to be a full. This is going to be a full. What seems to be 4-man pool in favor of Prime Guardian, going in favor of Conti. Once again, the fastest mind of the West is going to secure another objective for his team after a long, drawn, and very close team fight. Oh man, just a little bit of damage, a little bit more CC, and a little bit more time. And you have to know it's bad timing. That initiation could have been yours. However, it is not going to be the Sparrow, but Huggy Bear and the Crocs in sports mode who will survive, standing tall as their team is going to shut down all of the inhibitors of bad timing.
Yeah, and they're going to go for the objective here. But what an amazing time! That was probably the best team fight that we've had so far in the tournament. Sparrow doing her best to try to stay alive, but Rampage and Peng Mao just getting to the back line and just putting so much pressure. Once Sparrow was down, before that fight and fully developed, bad timing was trying to get something to going. Aurora blinked in. Aurora used her ult, a big AoE ability, a big ultimate that is down off that last fight. So they POONSLAYERS going in for the re-engage while Aurora was down, and they were able to get to the back line.
Yeah, man, and it's not only that, but the ability to kind of reposition yourself there, Finir, on the Rampage pick, being very aware that Ice Wall is up. But if you are going to be applying pressure, that now had to be the time to do it. As we find ourselves now here, 5v5, middle inhibitor, it's gone down. We're going to see a rotation going right. The Crunch looking like he's getting ready to punch, but is it going to be enough to save that inhib? It looks like it just might be. That is going to be in a big Aurora ult coming off the back line, melting throughout the health bar. However, it is going to be Sparrow who brings down the Drongo. Knock, knock, here comes the damage with the inner fire on the backline, ready to be utilized at the drop of an instance, and it is going to be burning bright through that health bar as Crunch likes to punch, and he's going to go for the initiation. Where is the coin flip? And it is going in favor of bad timing right now as BT Black Air Force Blood, as I like to call him, is going to go a run down through the jungle path. Aurora keeping this team from backing. Looking to chase down, and the good route coming out of this Sparrow. The aim, the shot. Is she going to make it back in the sprint? More than likely not, as it is going to be a rundown from the other side of the lane. As we used to say, from the window to the wall, from your inhib to mine, it is going to be a 4-0 trade. Favor bad timing. The clock strikes right as they are lined up to sit inside the enemy core after more than likely taking this inhib. But what does the Rampage have to say about it?
15 seconds on Drongo to help here. Oh, he's taking so much damage.
Oh my god, dude, you can't fall here, dude. You can't fall here, and yet you do. Those spare arrows is absolutely insanity. Somebody get him the psychosis drugs, because what I'm seeing can't be real. Put me in Arkham. That is a full inhib to inhib chase down coming out of bad timing, and I know it's a bad time for this team in Conte right now.
Sparrow is massive. Gonna back and get a full item. Going to be completing emergency treatment. Scylla is gonna be the next spawn up. Wow, that was insane.
I can't, Courtney.
These guys are so evenly matched. Sparrow, man, again, we talked about it pregame. Sparrow is one of the best Rangers late game, and we're seeing it why. The steroid, the mobility, the ultimate, just shred through multiple targets and doing more damage to the front line. It is. We also got to give up some props to Mako too. Mako's doing a really good job of healing and peeling. Background is doing an amazing job at supporting.
It just So it's oh god. Okay, Cordy, you're gonna have to forgive me for what I'm about to say here. Would you say it's Mako lit? Oh, okay, that didn't work. That was bad. That was bad. Kick me.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. Kick me from the casting chair. But yeah, I have to agree.
Does anybody want to cast
agree.
game 2 with me?
Yeah, that's completely fair. Completely fair. Put me out of the booth. But no, I have to agree there. The peel, the heal, the sustain, the good positioning on the ult, the falling of the bodies as they hit the floor, arrows in the ground, and a fire melting through the health bars. This team says it is about their time, and it is going to be a double because Blub understands the assignment, and it is bodies leading up to that core as they are going to enter sprint mode. The Crocs in Sports, they are looking to end this game as it is going to be 3-0 favor. More than likely to be staring down the barrel is going to be Conti and the lads. We're going to need a miracle here, but there is not going to be one to be seen as the only god is going to be found at the end of a sparrow arrow, as it is going to be this game in favor of bad time.
Wow. That was an insane game. That is probably the best match I've seen in Paragon yet.
That was absolutely insane. And it comes back down to a lot of what we expected, but not only expected, but a lot of what we knew the picks were capable of. It just took them a moment to get there. We saw off the back that Fenrir, Feng Mao, the mobility, the ability to chase down in combination with the tankiness and them getting a little bit fed early allowed for all of these team fights to sway in their favor. However, you can see the numbers for yourself on screen. The longer the game went, it was like a rope tightening second after second after second. Blub, Narek, even the Aurora now getting tanky enough to be able to blink onto that backline, get an ult, and sustain herself there and not immediately be melted through, was able to bring it back from what some people thought to be a certain loss, I'm sure. But way to bring it back, man. Really showing what 5v5 competitive within this game, how exciting it can be, and how just amazing of a time, and what amazing plays are capable of when you have the mechanics and the teamwork to back it up. It's insane.
Yeah, POONSLAYERS, they were dominating early game. They were dominating the early, and then once it started becoming to mid late game, once Sparrow got that chainsaw online and we had that spirit fight, that's kind of when the game just was kind of turned over for bad timing. But yeah, Sparrow late game just is pretty nutty. It'd be interesting to see if we see a Sparrow pick or a ban.
Oh, just preparing me.
Yeah, just a little prep. Me. All right, guys, we're waiting for game number 2. Some technical issues, but we're waiting to start. But man, that was really fun. That was the best. So good. That's probably the best Paragon we've seen so far. Like ever. I don't know.
That was saucy. I mean, dude, it's not over till the big lady sings, and I'm gonna be honest. Blub told him to shut up. Like, it was so good to watch. And we talked about Blub's playing the Sparrow, but it wasn't only Blub. It was also Narek on this Bellica, Cranky, Plead, Vecron. The guys really like playing as a unit, understanding they're back on their back foot at the beginning, but that does not mean they can't take off in a run as they get to the end game. They play to that strength. They got to that point, and ultimately, man, they got that win. Now, what I want to see is some pretty light adjustments coming off of both them and the team at Conti for different phases of the game. A little bit of an early game adjustment, maybe for bad timing, while swerving over to maybe a little bit of a mid-game adjustment for the lads in Conti. What do you say, man?
Yeah, I think one of the main adjustments is either picking Sparrow or banning it. Also, maybe Muriel too. Muriel had some really good plays. To be fair, though, the early game, the POONSLAYERS were dominating. Conti was getting the objective stills. They were team fighting really well. But whenever that mid to late game started happening, that's when the Sparrow kind of kicked in overdrive. Whenever she got the chainsaw online, the team fights just started to shift a little bit, and when it came to late game, that's when Sparrow just was the threat.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Like she got chainsaw online, and it's like a proactive acne photo almost. There's the before, and then there was the after. It was like a Maybelline commercial, Corey. It was insane. The flipping of the switch, God beginning of time, let there be light, inner fire burns bright through the health bar of anybody within range. And that team within Bad Timing just took that momentum and just ran with it, dude. Like a torch in the night. They sprinted throughout the forest until they found that pathway to victory on the back of it. So I would want to see a Sparrow ban, but it is going to be in a Revenant and a Roar ban here. So you have to wonder, like, who's going to be the first pick? Is it possibly going to be Sevarog, who we've seen a lot of priority put on recently? And there it is, Sev boy, a top pick here within this new meta of the game.
now is Seb the one? Can he shut down maybe a late game Sparrow if they choose to go Sparrow first here? Like, is he the one pick that could a long range root, can dash to get close, maybe ult to throw her away? Yeah, I'm not sure if Seb can be the one to shut down the Sparrow, but again, going back to the first game, the early stages of the game, they were winning. So if they can continue, if they can get back on that same path of just dominating early and keep it going through, maybe the Sparrow wouldn't be a problem. But no Sparrow first pick. We got a Rampage and a Bellica.
Yeah, buddy. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie here. I was hoping to see out of this team with Blub, I was hoping to see a Sparrow into a Muriel pick.
Yeah.
You know, giving her a little sustain, chainsaw online as well as merchants. You're gonna not necessarily easily, but you definitely can rip through this Sevarog. And they heard me. This is looking like the dream team.
That should have been the 1 and 2.
Oh, this is my sleep paralysis demon in any comp game. Sev, Muriel, Sparrow. God, man, that's a toughie. That is definitely a very good draft so far coming out of Content, the boys.
Yeah, Sparrow was fast last game, but with the Muriel boost behind it, she's gonna be zooming.
Yeah, we're gonna see a Crunch pick into the back. Okay, we know Crunch can be very decisive in a lot of team fights, but also surprisingly safe, being able to double dash out of a lot of engages that do not swing within his team's favor, can just apply a little bit of damage, get out, comes a little bit of CC, get out, play maybe a little bit of disruption on this Muriel on the back end before resetting. And it's good.
I'm doing a little prediction for chat here, so the alt tab really quick. Keep spamming me with predictions.
I can see it. They want the predictions out of the gamers.
They got to get those points, man. They're fiends. They want those channel points.
They're fiends for the channel points, and we're actually going to see now Affinity and Howitzer, arguably Howitzer currently the strongest mage in the game, as we discussed earlier, locked in for this team. And this is, dude, Conti has what looks like the dream team right now.
Yeah, the Slayers are looking really good. County back on the thing now, dominate early game. There is great amount of CC for Bad Timing. Bellica knockup, Crunch double stuns, Rampage rock, Mako knockback. A lot of good CCs. Just gonna see how this late game goes, and if that Sparrow can pop off like in the hands of Huggy, like it did in Blubs. But game number 2.
Game 2, boys. We are in. It is going to be the POONSLAYERS versus Bad Timing. The clock strikes right twice at least every day. And we're going to see if we can get a second one here within the round 2 of this tournament put on by, come on, can we give it up a little bit for Cordy for setting this bad boy up, allowing us to view some of the best games we've seen thus far. Chat, I'm gonna need to see you get a little bit hype as we are gonna be looking for some excellent gameplay here. Now, I gotta ask you, Cordy, I gotta know, I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit. What, for this team, I think, do we both agree that the POONSLAYERS, in our opinion, may have won that draft?
Yeah, I think they won the draft. Muriel, Sparrow, Sevarog, and Howitzer. Again, the Feng Mao, like I said last game, not a lot of CC, but he does provide that early damage. If they can ride that Feng Mao into the early mid game with that early damage, But yeah, team draft wise, I'm definitely giving it up to the Poonslayers.
Yeah, draft wise, gotta give it to POONSLAYERS. So, with assuming that we have that agreement here, I do have to ask, follow-up question. What is your opinion? Because I see one, but it's a rough one. What is the path of victory you see for bad timing if they want to win this game with the draft they currently have?
They have to shut down Sparrow and Muriel. Whatever they can do to get to the back line, Muriel is going to be an easier target. Just lower health bars, it's going to be under leveled. But one of those two, both of them have to be shut down in order for bad timing to win this one. And with the amount of CC they do have, it could be done. It could chain CC to Muriel to get her down and either force an ult or just flat out kill.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree full-heartedly with you on that one. But there's another part of it I feel that can't do it, and the skin is very fitting, as it for me has to be Black Air Force Blood. It has to be. Twin Blast can be such a dominant force as to where Sparrow's ult late game can change the engagement of an entire team fight. Twin Blast in the late game can pick a character and just remove them from initiation. It's not tied to an ult. It's not tied to an ability. It's tied to the item, and it's tied to the speed, and it's tied to the kit. However, we're going to see how well it goes, as it is going to be a dodge in on the Fang Mao early on, getting about 50% of that health bar burned through here. However, Mako's going to do a little bit of a heal. BT Blub is not going to be scared, though, as he looks to translate a bit of that damage across. A reverse blink back in, coming from the Fang Mao, and it looks now like they are turning this engagement. It is going to be the grenades being popped off of the Twin Blast. A knockback coming out of the Mako, really helping to set the distance in tone here within the dual lane. We're not scared. You can bring your best, bring the spear, bring the arrows, and bring the shields. But they ultimately did get more damage across to the people ganking them than they received, and they also have the heals coming from Mako on the back end to help support and get Bluff back in the engagement for these trades.
Yeah, not getting county with the early rotations, not able to get anything out of it, but it was able to get some health bars, force some backs, have a little better positioning. We could maybe see county coming back again now that there's more lane pressure being put on by Poonslayer, so county could come back and try to finish off the job that he didn't get the first time. But while that was happening, there was a little invade there by the Rampage. Couldn't make the rotation, so instead he decided to get a little invade off, take a little bit of harm from the enemy jungler.
For sure, and that which he did, and another very important part of this game, I feel like, a lot of people don't accredit enough to the game, the gameplay, and not just playing it, but playing it well, playing it efficiently, playing it optimized to an extent to where you are putting yourself in a position to win, if not every game, then most games. And that's taking this farming phase very seriously. You are not seeing a lot of people rotating out of lane. CS is king. CS is king. And at the end of the day, MOBAs are about gold. MOBAs are about income. Welcome to modern day capitalism, except we found oil on the planet Prime, as that is going to be a knockup. More than likely looking like for life here in the mid lane, but now it is going to be Plead on the rotation as Howitzer is a little bit pushed up here.
Oh,
a little bit
misses.
of a happy-go-lucky jump, but a rock over top of the head. And understanding that this engagement is all but lost, he's going to back up until he backs back in. That is going to be a jump onto the minion wave, but a disengage very quickly. Both teams understanding that there's not much to gain here unless the CC is landed and locked.
Oh, he has ult.
We do know the blink is down. The ult
He just got it.
Bullet rage through. You got spells. You got a shield. Big man, big squirrel in a mech suit. You got a rocket, but I got this 33 caliber with your name on it, and it reads First Blood going in favor of these boys in bad time.
Just enough farm to get level 6 as they were pushing there. The CCs that we talked about, the rock leading into a knockup, and County just could not react to the CC there.
For sure, and we were just saying within moments, the sentence coming out of our mouth, this is a no-show unless, and then the CC comes across, knock up into drone explosion, into teleport into the rampage damage, into the rock, so that these autos are able to get a bit more damage off, and then right on time. It makes it a bad time for the Feng Mao rotation out of Conti as the bullet gets unlocked and it rings true, giving the first blood over to the opposition. I mean, you couldn't write it any better in a playbook, man. Phenomenal play out of bad timing on that mid rotation.
Yeah, 6 minutes in, 1 kill. I love to see these kind of style of games. It's not a bloodbath early on. It's very strategic how they rotate, how they ward, how they set up for objectives. We have a lot of boards currently on the left side of the map, getting ready for spirits. We will be seeing a little rotation here soon on the spirit side.
For sure, man. And you can see in a lot of these games, right, whether it's this tournament or high ranks, out of the jungle, there's analysis of risk versus reward. And sometimes that risk, even when calculating you getting the kill, just isn't worth it. It's just not worth it in a lot of instances. However, with the nerfs to the jungle, now it's a lot more profitable than what it used to be. As we are going to see, Feng Mao close to that mid lane section. It is going to be Fenrir on the Sev, looking to complete himself a little bit of CS, but it is a hard matchup against Crutch within that solo lane, especially early, but a tale of which we've seen before. The tale of the scale going ever so up, like you just got back from Mickey D's, the scaling very much so in favor of the Sev within this game, in favor of the Sparrow, in favor of the Muriel. It's a tale of buying time. And I'm hoping we get to see it. And if you're going to be bad timing, you don't want to let it get to that point. So it's going to come down to, we see spirits up, Rampage floating near it. We have OS Wind Spirit once again. This game can be very good for either side of the team, if not for the quick rotations, if for the cooldown that they can get out of it. And it looks like it is going to be a decisive jump on it by bad timing, as they are going to start running through the health bar, just about 2/3, now hitting half, 3, then 2,000, 2,500 just hit. Are we going to see the quickest smite secure this? Uncontested is going to be Wind Spirit in favor of these lads, including Plead, but it is definitely going to be a trade over, as on the other side, Conti is going to be securing the Prime Guardian. This team is not going to likely be able to rotate fast enough to get the seal, and even if so, the smite is not going to be up, so it is going to be a 1-for-1 objectives. However, only one of these grant you a all game long buff of attack speed, of cooldown. So for me, it's definitely going to be a win for bad timing here. Yeah. But it also comes down to what tower this team and Conti's and the Poonslayers decide to take.
Yeah, right. Spirits are definitely more important here. You can definitely get a tower. And then eventually all the towers are going to go down. They're not super tanky. So all the towers will eventually go down. So you're left with just that passive buff that's throughout the entire game. And having the Wind Spirit again, pretty good passive. Movement speed's good. Attack speed and cooldowns is really great stats for your casters and for your carries, your rangers.
And it's also like a tale of two sides of the coin, right? Movement speed is good. Keeping the movement speed away from the boosted Sparrow, even better. Cooldown, great, love it. Keeping the cooldown away from the health bar for everybody on my team, even better. So it definitely feels like Spirit has to be a high prio throughout this game if you're going to be bad timing, looking to close it out relatively early. CCs? But the question then becomes, where's the steamroll? Is it going to start here? That's how it's going to be melted through. Icat's bullet, and this kill is going back in favor of Bellica to the mid lane. Narek is going to get himself too, as that incremental advantage, man. We've talked about it before. Very well executed and very quickly executed, as this team is building up a little bit of a lead bit by bit, and we're going to see if it turns into a steamroll or if it's going to be the Poonslayers are going to be able to put a stop to it by getting to that mid to late game.
That combo CC is just so easy to hit. The stun, a long range stun into a knockup and just bursting down. That's what we're looking for. And when it comes to late game, that they're going to have to transition. I believe they're going to transition to Sparrow, because Sparrow is going to be a problem, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking for. The chain CCs, the stun from Crunch, the stun from Rampage, trying to blow them up before they can even react to anything. I'm curious to see if we'll see some of the debuff items from these characters. If Sparrow or Howitzer will get the debuff, the cleanse items. We don't see it often, but heavy CCs we can.
Yeah, we do see Joy being built there. First item already on to Narek. Understanding the scaling of that item, despite being nerfed, it's still also very potent, especially if you do get to that late game. It's almost like car insurance, right? You're not hoping to get into the wreck that is the late game against the Muriel, against the Sparrow. But if you do, you got to set those insurances and assurances in place for if you do, as the solo lane scuffle, like most scuffles in the solo lane are going to be a nothing burger, but it is going to be a possible engage here off of the Feng Mao and off of the Howitzer, pushing for this mid lane tower, understanding that with the momentum that this Bellica and the lead that she's built, that it has to go, allowing for her not to be able to push up as easily and making her a bit more vulnerable, even if her Rampage does rotate in on it. The biggest question here is it going to be able to get off any damage to the inhib? And that's going to be a no. A very important and decisive part of these games for when Prime spawns and those inhibs going down, if any damage is already on them, can matter a lot to the ease at which how quickly you can take them.
Yeah, while we're watching mid there, left was able to get push and tower was going to go down on the left side. TV was able to push that with Mako and get that down. Personally, I don't like getting the towers down that early on the carry side, because if they are looking for a farm, they're going to be in a really bad situation if Sparrow just go ahead and freeze this lane here. It's going to be really bad positioning if Twin Blast tries to go up and get that farm.
Yeah, I have to imagine that they're hoping just to end the game here. Prime Spirit up at another 30. If they're able to push both of these lanes, like it looks like they are attempting to do, but we are seeing the back out of the Bellica as well as the Twin Blast. You have to hope that these guys are looking to secure another Spirit and maybe just start the mowdown. Maybe just start the run through, rev up the lawnmower and get this game 2 over in the pack. However, it is going to be an out of position here. Fang, as he is going to get bursted down, the crunch initiating it. He likes the
CC.
And the
oh my!
Coming over to the Howitzer. That's going to be a 1-2 combo. Send it 2 over to the Great Screen. Then we got the rundown coming out. Twin Blast. Those rockets coming true. Sparrow, your time is up because we're going to run, and we're going to run right down your jungle. Quick rotation in, quick rotation out. Now we're going to be on Spirit, most definitely. It is going to be these lads. We cannot let it get late game. So the Steamroller has to start now, and they are setting the pace to do so, as it is going to be Wind Spirit 2-0, their favorite 5-0 kill count, as Twin Blast starts to rotate over to re-get himself a little bit of CS. Not in harm's way, because I mean, hey, what's the bother? The enemy team's dead.
The chain CCs by Rampage and Crunch, the knockup followed after by Bellica, just so much damage. Howitzer couldn't even react. He was locked in place. He couldn't even get to ult. He couldn't get any abilities off. He was not impactful in the fight because he was a minion. He couldn't do anything. He wasn't fighting back. He's got to go to cleanse.
I have a hot take here. What if the merits of Crunch isn't just... So we know the merits of Crunch. He's a great engager, right? He can be very tanky. Can translate a lot of damage onto the enemy team. Another thing that I just realized that maybe accounts for why he can be so potent in these games, for why he can be so good, is a Deku stun can be missed, right? A Muriel bubble can be misplaced, and it also costs you value to get it. A Severall ult can maybe not connect with everybody. You
Double
cannot miss the CC that Crunch provides. Look
Triples.
at it. He's pulling up on you, and he is right there in your face, looking to put you down, which allows for your team to follow up almost guaranteed on an unmoving target here, as he is going to catch a triple stud, though, within that lane, and it's going to be a disengage from both teams.
Yeah, just able to... He's a lockdown character. He goes in, dashes in, gets a stun, uses his ult to get another stun right after that. His cooldowns are so low that in a few seconds he has another stun coming back up. Right now we're at what, I think 30%, 15 CDR, 10 here, so 25 CDR. I mean,
but don't forget they also have 2 wind spirits.
Yeah.
That's another 8% on top of that.
Yeah, he's at 37 right now, 37 CDR. Looking at the bottom right now, and yeah, those cooldowns with his passive, His abilities are always going to be up.
His abilities are always going to be up, but the matter is his team going to be up for this team fight here?
Oh,
As it's going to be Black Air first blood. So we get around the side, getting a little bit of damage across. It is going to be a lot of damage here within the middle, but a force blade coming out of Derek as his health is going to be dropped low. The knockback will not kill, but it will trigger the Prime Guardian as his team covers him on the back end. It is going to be far off to the side. A very low health howitzer, a very dead howitzer found to the screen. A big ult coming out of back. Oh, it is going to be another one to fall. Zev picking up the kill. I'm love turning that high KD into a stack, but not before Derek and Kaz will not before Crunch can get the punch. It is going to be a bloodbath and turn off the shower head because this water bill is not free within the jungle. The rundown, it is going to end up being before the disengage, a 3-2 trade with no lanes in the jungle. A very chaotic and immediate team fight coming out. Now the real question here is for Plead. Are they going to be able to get this Prime Guardian on the back of it? I have to assume so. Howitzer just now up. Sev, as well as Fang, still on 5 seconds, not counting rotation time. This is almost, most certainly, uncontested, going to be an objective in favor of the steamroll, in favor of the avalanche, in favor of the clock hitting, in favor of bad times.
Plead leading that charge there, diving in and bringing his whole team with him. He's getting to the back line and just locking down Howitzer. Howitzer was in the corner, shivering. He couldn't do anything with the big Rampage rocking him and just smacking him around in the face.
Dude,
yeah, Plead was just bullying.
The disrespect of the ramp rock right there, man.
0-0 and 6. 0-0 and 6.
Wolf.
Just being a bully. It's literally what Rampage is. He's just a bully, and Howitzer is unfortunately on the end of that bullying. Sparrow hasn't gotten it yet. Howitzer has been getting a lot of love early on, but when it comes to late game, Sparrow starts popping off. We'll definitely see that transition.
With how high that Howitzer was, man, you would have thought he was ulting, but no, it was the ramp jumping in and giving him a big old wedgie, dude. Giving me high school flashbacks over here on this side. The torment that a Rampage this early can provide is absolutely insane, but putting it in perspective, we've seen this before. We've seen this last game. Rampage's presence only diminishes with time. We've seen what this Sparrow can do late. We've seen what the Execute of the Feng Mao can do in any team fight and engagement. He doesn't offer too much to his team, but that is definitely something he does. It's a matter of 8-2-2-0, but all of those inhibs, they're still up. And as this clock begins to tick, 1, 2, 3, tick tock, the chances of the Sparrow coming online get greater and greater. So you have to know, you have to feel that Blub and the boys are feeling the pressure right now as they are entering the mid game to put a cap on this one. And that's why it looks like they're looking for a team fight as she is going to cast bullet police brutality on the black line. We're gonna call that roadkill as Howitzer is sent to the back street. A rundown coming out of Fleet. The CC, the burn down, the burnout is gonna link the Fang. Sit back to the temple. The monk is at the gray screen. That's a 2-0 trade in favor of bad timing of the boys as we are gonna get another rotation, I have to assume, onto this Wind Spirit. Or is this going to be a prime play? It looks like they're going to rotate out of the mid. They understand they have to get this game over, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do. And now it comes down to if this team and Conte and the lads have what it takes, if they have the coins to hit the continue button, as it looks like bad timing is going to be trying to shut down the arcade. Crunch playing defense, creating space for his team, attempting to melt through. He has to know his life likely to be traded here, but is it going to be enough for this team to secure the prime? And it will, as Plead gets it in favor of the bad timing boys. But not only that, it is going to be Fenrir who falls.
He's still in the back line.
And he cannot be stopped until he can. Wally's put out a commission, as it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but is it really? As the enemy in the hip sustains serious damage and is shut down for the next passage of time, as we're seeing the true play potential coming out of bad time there. Cordy, you got to give it to me, man. What did you see in that team fight?
Rampage. Rampage, the lockdown Bellica just deleted Howitzer in that early team fight there. Howitzer turned the corner, Bellica waiting in the bush and just knock up CC, right click ult, and he was gone. He was deleted. Bellica right now, level 14.
It was so fast.
6-1 and 2.
Just removed her file from the game. just made the executive decision to, you know, let's control alt delete and let's try something a little bit different, as this team is doing everything they need to secure this secondary game. Inhibs are off. You know a team fight is coming. If you're going to be Conti and the lads, you're looking for a big group up and a big pick on Teneric. I have to assume that bounty on him must be at least,
it's only 250.
At least a nice 200, as he recently did get shut down with that one death. But you have to put up at least a soft defense here to buy time for some of your other hands to come up. But
can't react.
It's a magic trick, Gordy. They made the man.
They forgot the inhib.
The
inhib guys.
For it, as they're going to be instead rotating for the middle one, knowing that one is also pretty low. It looks like they're actually going to be going to get them all low, but not dropping them quite yet.
Interesting.
As they're going to be setting up to make a big game-ending play. At this stint, I would be honest, I would personally leave the minions to take each of these towers if I'm playing on Conte's team. However, there's a dual side of that. If you are going to do that, that basically means you are not allowed to get any CS for this next extended period of time. This play stifles the gold income of this team if they let them, but also leaves them basically naked for pleading them to end the game at any juncture if they get another big play.
This right here is competence. Bad timing is competent enough that they're going to get the next objective, the next Guardian, and not having to worry about them respawning. They're going to get the Guardian. It's going to delete it, and they can just push for core. This is a lot of competence from bad timing. If this bites them in the ass because they didn't get those waves pushed up and then force the enemy team to defense while they get the free objective, yeah, this would be very interesting.
Super interesting. We do still have a couple minutes until we are going to see that bad boy spawn out. More than happy to allow these teams to play for a bit longer. We're going to see that this team with Conti and the POONSLAYERS, I'm not gonna lie, that name will not stick with me.
Yeah.
Bad timing is a part of like my league, so I have them down. I see Blub, I know it's bad timing. It takes me like 3 games though to get the names of each of these teams. However, we do see that they are not gonna go for stifling their own ways, for stifling their own goal, to just let these go down and then pushing out from that point, understanding that if this team in bad timing gets the next objective, if they get the next prime, it's all but game over. However, comeback mechanic that is built into the game is going to be the Sparrow late game. And a Mako ult off the back end, and the mobility breaking up the ankles. Got the Crocs in sports mode, but it is going to be very close, and the aerial shields come through for Huggy Bear, who is going to jump cross map, but waiting there for him is going to be the Crunch. We have a little bit of a skirmish over there, as it is going to be the Crunch in hot pursuit. RoboCop in pursuit mode, running down, as it is going to be Fangmouth finding himself, but a blink over is all we're going to secure the disengage and escape, as a 1-0 pick in favor of Conti and the lads is going to put them back within the car, as it has been securely bad timing in the driver's seat.
It's never a 1v1. Muriel coming in clutch with that, ulting it over, getting the shields, and that was a pretty good fight there for Sparrow, getting a little bit of gold there, getting some farm. Kind of delaying a little bit here. There's no big objective yet. There's no big objectives up yet. So not losing much here, but Sparrow's
caught out and caught dead. Oh my goodness, Bellica. It was a bounty. You were supposed to take her back alive. The brutality, the violence, the tower, the inhib. That's going to be 2 down, 30 seconds on the Sparrow, and at least another 5 on the Fangmouth. Not counting rotation time to get out. This team, 38 seconds on the Prime. Looking like they may be looking to rotate out to set up to get it early on. Knowing that they have all the momentum in the world. Narek is going to be backing for a power spike. And ladies and gentlemen, guys, let's show a little bit of love in the comment section, because it looks like we're getting ready for a Prime party here pretty soon.
That was so I was a little bit wrong on the decision that they were doing. So they're gonna get the inhibs before the Prime Guardian spawns. That way they can keep those lanes pushed while they're getting the Guardian. But yeah, I mean, they're playing in a whole nother level right now in this game. Last game it was very even. This one, they are bad timing is clicking. The
These
CCs
guys
are on
they're
it.
playing 5D chess. They're playing 5D chess, man. Twin Blast's bullets are shooting Doctor Strange in the thigh because these guys are in a multiverse of thinking, and it's been hell of entertaining to see so far. As it looks like we may get an engage here, applying pressure into the right side jungle. Very aware that those lanes are going to be pushing, so you're forced to make a decision here if you're Conte and his boys. Do you push or do you pull out? Either way, you're going to be losing something. But right now it's a stare down on the edge of prime, on the precipice of this game. Victory or defeat can be decided in this next team fight.
As wrapping around.
He's going to be bouncing left to right. Sparrow, a very safe distance away now with the Sevarog right on the hip. Peel, not the greatest, but definitely Peel nonetheless. Something they very much so need within this instance. Are we going to see a back out, a bad timing here to maybe make their way onto Prime? It doesn't look like it. It looks like instead BT is going to be opting to solo himself the ruler Spirit Scylla. If anything, to get the buff, but if everything, to deny it from going to the other team, knowing that their attention, their focus has to be on the Prime objective.
Not seeing crit builds, like this is taking a lot longer than a crit would be, but Scylla is going to go down, increasing that and going to get a TP. We haven't seen them push for the Guardian yet. They're waiting for the TP to come and regroup, and looks like we might see the push here. Three pulling it, and maybe 4 pulling it, and Crunch defending or zoning.
Yeah, in other iterations of the game, we could have possibly seen them. Oof, that's 10% HP on that Crunch off of 2 shots from what it looks like, and that Sparrow has a whole lot more to take. However, she's about half health. This is not looking at a very good engagement. It almost definitely, it is going to be a pull off in favor of the team who has been applying the pressure. Now we got Whittians on the left side as they are all pushed up. That is going to be the first kill coming from DPT Blub on the Fenrir as this team is forced to try to disengage to defend their core. Man, the writing's on the wall, but they are hoping that this team in bad timing doesn't know how to read. It is going to be a 2-man defense. Muriel, Sparrow, the dual lane couple, hoping to pull it through. It's going to be all alone. The Sparrow in for our Birdie Bright, but it's not going to be enough as Rampage opts to walk away as this team in bad timing almost certainly is going to be walking away with the dub here. 5 down, complete D aside.
GG's.
It's going to be a 2-0 in favor.
Bad timing CC was just so good there. The crunch stuns, the rocks, the knockups. Twin Blast was just kind of, Blub was just kind of chilling, man. He didn't really have to do a lot. The front line was just, the front line in mid was carrying that one.
Yeah, man. GG's to both these teams. Both of them played well, bringing some info. Just insane play out of bad timing that first game, understanding their win con is bringing it to the late game, and insane play out of them in the secondary game as well, understanding that their win con was not letting it get to the late game. Very much so looking forward to see what else these teams do within this tournament.